I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, December the 28th, brought to you in part by Vitalix. Not all tubs are created equal. Stretch your profits with every lick. We've got exciting stuff from Vitalix coming up here in the new year, guys, including free tubs. So be sure and pay attention to feeder flash whenever we have Vitalix on for more information. Get the blue tub, your cows will love you. For more information, go to Vitalix.com. Market members are chomping at the bit, literally, and especially your border buyers. They've got to get some commission stirred up here to pay for the bills that Santa Claus left. And everybody's just kind of ready to get back. A lot more conversations going on in the group text that I'm a member of. They're just wanting to do something. There's not enough going on right now. We did have some guys saying that they haven't had any cattle for a while. The sick pens are getting cleared out. They're ready for some new cattle. I think that our runs are going to be lighter in the Midwest this January here in February, starting out the new year than normal. That's usually when your biggest runs are, right in the breadbasket. Because those diversified producers there that farm also, they've had enough time since they put their combines up to get their calves long time weaned. The heck of it is, some of them, and just about every producer in the breadbasket, I'm talking right up in there in the Midwest between Kansas City and Omaha and stretching out 100 or 200 miles in every direction there. Most all of them got a silage pit. At least half full or better, or they've got a silage bag that's 100 foot long or more, and it's pretty nice just to put those cheap pounds on those cattle, and they may not bring those cattle to town until they get heavier. So with tighter runs, we could see some pretty impressive markets. I think we will see the prices come out of the gate here in 2024 and be higher. They were kind of on their way right before we had the shutdown there, but with tighter receipts and a big desire, a big appetite for cattle, I think we'll see your market start out the year pretty good. The board's been pretty friendly to us through the holiday shutdown. We haven't seen much fat cattle trade at all continuing, and that's been really the biggest news here all through the fall, is how slow the change speeds have been. Your packers have not been aggressive on getting products secured. Therefore, they haven't been very aggressive on buying cattle. Did see, which I always like to take a look at every time I notice when it comes out, is the purchase type breakdown of how your packers are buying fed cattle in your 5-area feeding region there and nationwide. This is for quarter number 3. And guys, I'm always talking about how I wish we could find ways to have more negotiated trade, because we have very, very little price transparency. It's going to get to the point we don't know what the market is. I keep saying that we're following in the footsteps of the hogs and the chickens before them, and that's absolutely true. And you can see it right here. This is from USDA. This shows you that nationwide in the third quarter, we only sold 17.7% of all the fed cattle sales. Only 17.7 nationwide were in a negotiated manner. That's very pitiful. It was even less than that in a 5-area feeding region, less than 17%. And the main culprit is the Southern Plains. Texas only sold 6.1% of their total fed cattle sales were in a negotiated manner. So all the rest of them were sold based off of what those 6.1% brought. How does that sound to you? How about Kansas? They're under 9% negotiated. Now you get up in the Midwest and Northern Plains, you see a little more than that. Nebraska, just under 23%, which is down big from them. Just a few years ago, they were running over 30% but a lot of your bigger feedlots have signed into sweetheart deals with your packers. They were basically forced to because they can't compete if they haven't gotten into one of those deals. But Iowa, with all their farmer feeders, still selling well over half. 56.2% of their cattle during the third quarter were sold in a negotiated manner, and they set the market. I wish they had a little bit more leverage in their trade. But you see, most all of your trades are on a formula basis, and that's what's wrong with this industry, in my opinion. It's hard to get a little bit more out of your market when you deserve it, because we just don't have enough leverage in the weekly negotiations with the packers. We had a cattle on feed report come out since we talked last, and since I'm saying that, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I had a great Christmas there, spent with my family, and we enjoyed our time there. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get out and do some things too. But I'm glad. I hope all you guys had a great Christmas. But right before Christmas, there on that Friday before your Monday Christmas, we had a cattle on feed report. It was on the bearish side, but let's don't talk too much about it, because the board has taken right up after the Christmas break and been positive. So let's don't dwell on that cattle on feed report. But it did show that your December 1st inventories of cattle on feed were 2.7% more than the same report a year ago. And that's about 0.5% more than what the guesses were. The guesses were 102.2. It had to do with your placements and your marketings, but placements were 98.1% of a year ago, and the guesses were 96.2. Marketings is the big deal. They're just not slaughtering the cattle near the pace that they were. They're leading people into making the cattle bigger to get them through these tight supplies, and not marketing and not slaughtering as many. Your marketings were 92.6% of a year ago. That is significant. The guesses were light too, but we're still at 93.2. But there's a lot of cattle on feed, but we've got record short numbers of cattle that are outside feedlots, and especially cows. And there's a lot of heifers on feed, and we've slaughtered a lot of heifers, and our numbers are extremely tight. Whether or not those sound fundamentals ever have anything to do with the market, I don't know, but we're still sitting at, historically, we're sitting at a pretty high nest right now, guys, and we can't complain a whole lot. We did have a big correction there late this past year, or this year, I guess we're still in it, in the middle of the fall. Well, a lot of times we see a hiccup in the fall. It's just that our market was so big, the correction was really big too. But it seems like we're well on our way in getting a lot of that back. If we can get some more interest into the Chicago Mercantile Exchange cattle futures, and get some more trade in there where it's not so susceptible to just being sold off and plunged and having the rug pulled out from under us. But of those cattle on feed inventories, only 3 states of the states that they poll had lighter numbers of cattle on feed, but 2 of them were Colorado and Nebraska. Let's talk about your board of late. Your December live cattle futures on Wednesday were up 15 cents at 170.72. Now on Tuesday, right after your Christmas holiday, they were up 52. And last Friday they were down 50 cents, but no big moves at all. Now on your Wednesday, your further outs, which December is just trying to get in line with what's going on right now, so it's trading real close to the vest. February contracts on Wednesday down $1.12 at 169.27, and your back months were down 12 to down 47, but pretty quiet on your board through the Christmas break there. June feeder cattle were up 92 cents on Wednesday at 224.47. Tuesday was up 80. Of course, your corn's been weaker. Last Friday was up $1.05. So we've been pretty good. And then your Friday afternoon cattle on feed report did not hurt your board. with that Monday holiday there. They just seem to have forgotten all about it, which, like I said, let's don't talk about it too much. March feeder cattle are up 82 cents on Wednesday at 225.40. Your back months were up 7 cents to up 82. So pretty quiet on your futures, and that was nice. As much as they willed us around all fall, to go through the Christmas break without any big shakeups was kind of nice. March corn down 3 3/4 cents at 476.5 on Wednesday. January beans up 3.5 at 1316 3/4. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 7 3/4 cents on Wednesday, closing at 635. Your fat cattle trade was very light last week. You remember we were waiting for some significant trade. Never really got any. Right there at the very tail end of the week, we did see some. Your market was higher. This was all last week. We sold just short of 44,000 head in your 5 area, which is extremely light. Less than 50,000 is nothing. It was just barely bigger than the previous week, which was record light at 35,100. And like I said, they're just not buying very many cattle negotiated anymore, guys. And it's going to get to the point where they don't even need to buy any, and that's when we're screwed. We won't know what the market is. We won't know what the price of it is, and we're getting scary close to that, like I give you on the purchase type breakdown just a minute ago. But last week, your market was higher. Northern Plains was $1 to as much as $4 higher dressed. Live sales 170 to 172, and dress sales from 270 to 271. Southern Plains steady to $1 higher last week, 170 to 171. Your weighted average last week on live steers was 170.51, so just an even split between 170 and 171. And that was $1.80 higher than the previous week's weighted average. Pretty significant gains. Your dressed weighted average on steers last week was 270.38. That was $2.85 higher than the previous week's dressed steer weighted average. But we haven't seen any trade at all this week, at all. After 2 extremely light negotiated trade weeks, haven't seen anything break loose at all this week, and then we're all the way past the mid part of the week. We did have a fat cattle auction. One of the only cattle auctions we've seen since I talked to you last before Christmas. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota had an auction on Wednesday. That was a lighter run, of course, and about 500 head of slaughter cattle. The slaughter steers were $3 higher, and your fat slaughter steers and heifers sold from 168 to 175.50, with some of those weighing nearly 1,700 pounds. They had some program non-implanted or drug-free cattle as high as 176, but as you see, 50 cents, that's not a very big premium for those cattle right there. But a pretty good market there, and it seemed like your packers were fairly aggressive for them because they're chomping at the bit to get back to doing some business too. Your slaughter last week before the holiday was much lighter than that big week we had the previous. It was about 30,000 lighter, but 621,000 was estimated for last week's slaughter. This week is not going to be comparable because of the Christmas holiday, so it doesn't really do us any good to try to compare those. Our Punchy Pick of the Month contest is coming to an end here again. Tomorrow I will be giving you guys the Punchy Pick winners, so be sure and tune in for that. We've had a lot of good ones sent in, and I'm kind of curious to see which ones the guys send me for the winners this last month. But don't forget about your Punchy Pick of the Month. Just snap a Punchy Pick that you get through the day, and you can send it to us at punchy@nationalbeefwire.com. You're automatically entered. The grand prize is the really cool swags, the t-shirts, caps, and sweatshirts and all the like from Beaver Feed Company in Beaver, Oklahoma, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, and then you get the whole case of Fair Peace, which is a revolutionary product that you guys need to learn more about. That's really helping these producers out, calming these cattle down, taking their anxiety and stress away, which always helps them. But if you guys are interested in Fair Peace, I'll try to remember to stick yet another video on at the end of this video. Don't forget what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services. If you guys are in the cattle business and you have not been protecting yourself through risk management, it's time, guys. These markets are too tall, they're too big not to be protecting yourself. You've got to do it. Livestock Risk Services can answer your questions. They are your LRP specialists. They can explain that whole thing to you. Just call Dakota Moss in Oklahoma City, or any one of his agents they're all in and around Oklahoma there, and they can help you out. If you want more information, go to livestockrskservices.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Wednesday with extremely light receipts. So it's a 7-day moving average. We haven't sold hardly any cattle at all in the last 7 days. So within that 7 to 899 pound range, cash auction range that we put those together with, we're down to only 3,400 head, and that real-time index sitting at 225.28. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index is 220.51. It's running on extremely light receipts too, but I don't have any feeder cattle quotes to give you at all. I didn't see any sales of any size that had anything worth quoting. I went into Cattle Market Central. I pulled anything, nothing. Didn't have anything since last Wednesday, the last time I gave you guys information. We are going to get started again though. Starting here today, there's a few sales starting up again. There's a big sale in Mitchell, South Dakota here today on Thursday. Going to have 4,000 plus. They're on DVAuction.com. Get on there, get a hold of them early, get approved to bid, and view and bid that sale in Mitchell, South Dakota. Be a bunch of sales starting up on Tuesday, and so be time to get back going again. But we'll have another feeder flash for you tomorrow. Then we're going to take a break there during those holiday on Monday, and be back with you on Wednesday there. But that is your feeder flash for Thursday.
My biggest account is Jeff Slatton, the owner of Beaver County Stockyards. For a while, we was selling him lots of antibiotics to doctor his cattle with. He was having basically a wreck at times. Ferropease comes along, we introduce it, he starts trying it out. Almost instantly, his vet bill reduced drastically, and the only thing that was changed up was Ferropease. I've also had other guys, cow-calf guys, this previous fall that tried it. Had one individual out here east of Beaver. First time he's ever tried it. He said he's always weaned his calves. They've bawled. They're right around his house. Can't sleep. This is the first year he's used it. He sent me a video one afternoon. The calves are all at the bunk. They're eating. They're spread out doing what they're supposed to do, and not a sound. So he was sold on it instantly. I've had several other reports of that. Lots of people saying that their cattle they act different. They're calmer, they handle easier, they're at the bunk, they're drinking. If your cattle are doing that, they're gaining, they're doing what they're supposed to do.